Hey everybody, this is Adam.
And this is Joe with Brightingale.
And today we're talking about the Yamaha DM3. So Joe, Yamaha DM3. We just got some in. What do you think about it?
I like it more than I thought I was going to. It's actually a really neat little board.
Okay. And where do you think this fits into our world?
Corporate. It is one of the best boards, in my opinion, that you could pick for any corporate event.
And so what does that mean? What makes it good for corporate?
The size. I mean, if you just look at this, it needs to be small and discreet, out of the way. This is a great mixer for this. Not a lot of table space on the tech table. This thing fits wherever you need it to.
And so this console, the DM3, this is the new series from Yamaha. DM3s are all 16-channel consoles. There is the standard version, which we have here, the Dante version, which is shipping a little bit later this year. And the Dante version does allow for, of course, Dante inputs from anywhere on a Dante network, but additionally, a new stage box. So one of the big deals about this one is it goes up to 96K. So you actually are going to get better sound quality out of this than the Yamaha TF5. But, Joe, what's in common with this and a TF5?
The operating system. I mean, if you know how to operate a TF5, it is pretty much the exact same operating system. Very familiar, very user-friendly, easy to navigate. And this touchscreen is a lot better than the ones you have on the TF. I really like this touchscreen.
Yeah, it's larger, it's more responsive, but they still keep things like the touch and turn knob and then the home button. I find myself regularly quickly touching a thing, turning the knob, and to quickly adjust parameters on this console.
I also really like these user-defined keys. On a console of this format, this small little form factor, you still have 6 user-defined keys. And it looks like you can also use them for shuttling for recording.
That is true. Yeah, you can use this for recording. So recording to the console, you can do it directly on the USB port using a USB drive. You can also do 2-channel playback, 2-channel record, and you can assign the user-defined keys to start, stop that, all from right there. Separately, if you connect this to a computer, you can use it as a DAW controller. So not only can you use the faders to control your DAW software, you can also use this as a multi-channel audio interface. So this, in that configuration, this will be an 18 in, 18 out audio interface. So that being said, when you're doing it as an audio interface, it's not plug and play, although there is a USB port on the back. You do have to download the Steinberg drivers to make that work on your computer. Speaking of computers, there's lots of software control for this. There's iPad control. Sorry, no Android control. If you have an Android tablet, you got to have an iPad. However, there is the editor software, which runs both on Macs and on Windows computers. It allows you to not only remote control the console, but also configure a console even when one is not connected. So in your world, that's probably super useful being able to say, oh, I know the next show coming up, but this is in a truck or on another event. You could configure the console, save the file, send that on a thumb drive for your next tech and have them be set up before they walk in the building.
Yeah, I mean, we've used that before with the other Yamaha consoles, and the software is pretty easy to use, very friendly.
And speaking of pricing on this, as of June 23, non-Dante version, $16.99, Dante version, $19.99. So a few $100 more, you get Dante. For us, we've already ordered Dante ones. I think those are going to be our go-to flavor because for only a few $100 more, it's nice to have the flexibility. That being said, if you don't need it, save a few $100 and get this version. One of my biggest pet peeves of this console after using it a little bit, like I said, I agree with Joe. I think this is, for corporate events, this is a great console. And in those corporate events, you typically have a panel of multiple speakers and everybody's speaking on a microphone. And lots of times you have somebody that's very SC and then you just really want to de-esser. The dynamics package on this console, there's 2 dynamics packages per channel. The first one, you can switch between gate or ducker, and the second one is your compressor always. And it's kind of a huge bummer that it's gate and ducker. I wish there'd been a choice between gate and de-esser, but you can't have everything you want. And like I said, these are really cost-effective consoles. But there's a solution for that. Yamaha supports with this what they call the VST rack. So that is common and used in their larger consoles. So that's something that's not possible on the TF. Right, so talking about, what is similar, what is different between the TF and this console. So this one has higher sample rates for better sounding audio, and can support VST plugins as long as you have a laptop connected. So every single one includes VST elements. You get the download code in the box, and that allows you to use their included plugins as well as any of your own plugins. So for me, the simple workaround for missing that de-esser is bring a laptop, plug in the USB cable on the back of the mixer, and I can insert my own VST de-esser plugins on any channels that I like. I think that's hugely flexible, and I'm not aware of any other console on the market at this price point that allows you to run third-party plugins.
Does the VST, does that include the Neve plugins? That's a great
You
question.
leave a note on below if Neve releases a VST version of the plugin. I don't know. I know they've got AAX, and I know they've got audio units. I assume they've got VST. Probably. We'll find out.
For a little bit extra, you can buy the rack mounts, so there's a couple little ears, and you put in a standard, rack where you'd put any other mixer. The other nice thing with the 8 outputs, you could use it to mix a band. Especially if you were like taking this out on tour with the same band, I think that's a great option. 6 options for 6 outputs for monitors, 2 for left and right. In fact, there's a little video Yamaha did on mixing a whole band on it. Wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't think it would be a bad experience. I think you could actually, mix a band on this and everything would be fine.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at the DM3 interface here. From the top, you have your input panel, and everything you kind of double tap. So this is going to be your mic pre, your input trim. And here they have the tuner interface that came from the TF series, as well as just a standard gain slider and a standard gain meter. So whether you prefer meter or the tuner style interface, that works, and it works with a touch and turn. So anything works just by giving it a tap and giving it a twist. So from this menu, I'm adjusting the mic pre even though I'm on the main page, which is really handy. If I want to adjust that threshold, I can do it, just touch it and twist. So that is incredibly easy. And then you can pop out each one of these menus using a little icon. And then when you're here, you can, adjust your cue just like that. And then you can hit the home key. You hit the home key a lot on this console. You can also record recall channel presets. If you were using the first right here is an Audio Technica AE2300 on a guitar, you could recall that preset. It's as easy as that. So we can go ahead and recall that to this channel. And now when we go home, it'll actually add an EQ that it thinks is appropriate for that microphone on a guitar. And with one knob mode enabled, you can actually just turn this and you can see the EQ adjusting automatically. And in my experience, it's pretty good. It's not exactly what I would do, but for the most part, they're pretty good. And if you're very inexperienced, it's a great starting point. We also have, like I said, the select, the cue, the on buttons. In Yamaha world, they have on buttons, not mute buttons. You have your USB, 2-channel in and out, or 2-channel recording, 2-channel playback, headphones, headphone knob, your touch and turn knob. This is where you select what your faders are. So right now we're on inputs 1 through 8. Go to inputs 9 through 16. They are motorized faders. You can also choose your effects, your outputs, and then 2 custom fader layers that you can make whatever you want. And it's actually really easy assigning the custom fader layers. If you just go to your setting, custom fader bank. And so here we are on custom fader layer 1, and say I want this channel right here to be the FX return. That chooses here. We want this channel here to be channel 9. Then that populates all of your channels. So you can make them whatever you want to be, however you want them to be. A feature that I kind of like is by default, if we are, on our mixer and then we hit, mix 1, for example, that automatically enables sends on faders. So now we're adjusting the mix 1 send. And if we go home, it goes back to our mix, which is the stereo mix. And then you hit mix 1, and it'll go back to mix 1. And that's true for all of these settings over here. You can also pop the dynamics out. Like I said, on the first one, you have the choice between a gate or a ducker. On the second one, you have a choice between just dynamics, and you have one knob mode on or off. So with one knob mode off, you make all the adjustments however you like them. This is where you can set your recording, whether you want to record the stereo bus or something else. You can also set the format. Here we can choose how you cue. Do you want to do a mixed cue, last cue, AFL, PFL? What do you want to hear? Your playback, all sorts of things. So that's that menu. Your settings menu has a lot of things. So you've got your save and load. This is for console presets, all sorts of things like that. Your preferences is where you can choose lighting and language and how often you're asked to confirm things. Your user-defined keys. This is where you would choose what you want to be. Right now, we've got this one set to tap tempo. It's a really simple setup. You would actually just choose it, choose what kind of function you want. Let's say I want to bypass effects 1, then I hit that. And now that is going to be an effects bypass. So if I hit that button, that means that effect is bypassed. Word clock, MIDI setup, bus setup. This is where you choose which channels are recall safe. So if you recall a preset, these channels will not be affected. This is where you change your patch. To be honest, like, it's handy having this. I'm not sure how useful this is on a console with these few channels, but it's nice that it's there. Channel linking, if you like to have stereo linking, this is really handy. And then your phantom power. Also down here, you've got brightness. Select the brightness of the screen, of the faders. You've got your network connection to connect this to other controls, your laptop, your iPad. This is the clock. This is the time. This is an error log. So you can see everything that's going on of what's happened in the console. So you can actually see that we recalled that preset about this console, version 1.3. I believe version 1.1 is out now. And then console lock. So this is a simple thing. If you just don't want to have somebody accidentally touch something in your console, but you don't need a password protect it, yeah, you can hit on the console lock and then you just push and hold to unlock it. And then here's where you can actually set different parameters of who can control what. So if you want someone to not be able to save over or whatever it is, you could create a guest account and enable that. I'm going to list my 3 favorite things about this console. And after that, you get to list your favorite 3 favorite things about it. So my number 1 favorite thing, size. I'm going to say ergonomics instead of size, because that includes both the size and how it works. So I'm going to stitch that. Ergonomics.
Fair enough.
Price. And then I guess on the last one, I'm going to say Dante. I want to say the VST thing, but I think in real world, Dante is more useful. What are your 3 favorite things?
So one of the things, like with all Yamaha boards, I like the little custom faders that you can do, the custom layers. There's 2 of them. If you think you need the Dugan, like, well, here, set up your custom layers. You can easily access whatever faders you need. I think that's great.
You can be the audio mixer, get paid for the work.
Oh, man. I also really like the presets. I think, for, volunteers, just learning how to, work a console, like in a church or something, it has the presets. So, I mean, like, you can load in a vocal preset. I tried one out and it was pretty close. Not exactly what I would have done, but, it would get a volunteer through. The other thing I really kind of like, it has 4 little combination jacks on the back. So, if you need to plug in, a laptop, only have 1/4 inch, you can plug 1/4 inch in there.
Keyboards.
Yeah, just kind of whatever you need to plug in, I guess you can plug a guitar in.
You can plug in a guitar and then use the VST thing to run an amp simulator.
Beautiful.
That is a roundabout way to get there, but have fun. Anyway, if you're interested in finding out more about this console, or if it's right for you or something else is, feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, or leave a comment below. Thanks so much for stopping by.